Doing a search for Cambridge Analytica on any platform will bring you this information. It's that easy.
It appears. Between the massive data leaks at Facebook and the questionable impact the company has had on the Brexit referendum and Trump's election, today you would be hard-pressed not to have heard about Cambridge Analytica. And yet, despite all the recent media coverage of this company, one name has remained surprisingly absent from the headlines. The man who is at the heart of the infamous organization barely gets mentioned at all. Even Wikipedia's 4,000-word article on the company mentions him only once, as if he's a brief side note, barely worthy of recognition. But in reality, quite the opposite is true.
Well, hey there, everyone! Welcome back to the channel.
I do feel responsible for it, and it's something that I regret. He's an upper-class Etonian who expects people to follow him wherever he goes. Alexander Nix is with me, and he starts with his sort of like razzle-dazzle. We work for the Pentagon, we work for MOD, MI6, we are brilliant and Eton and whatnot, and I'm a posh.
In the battle for power, democracy has a new front line. Elections around the world are being fought less and less on doorsteps and hustings.
Never shall we lose our faith and courage, and never shall we fail in exertion and resolve.
And more on screens and social media. It's an online information war, where often unseen hands harvest your personal data, tapping into your hopes and fears for the greatest political yield. And one British company is at the very heart of it. They've worked under the radar in elections in Nigeria, Kenya, the Czech Republic, India and Argentina. But they are best known for their work in America.
There can be no prosperity without law and order.
That company is Cambridge Analytica.
Is that immediately recording? Yeah.
After a 4-month undercover investigation, tonight a glimpse into how they really operate. Prepared, it seems, to ruin their clients' opponents through handouts and honey traps.
Send some girls around to Kenny's house.
Through sects, secrets and spies.
I know people who used to work for MI5, MI6.
Old style tactics wedded to the new.
We just put information into the bloodstream on the internet and then watch it grow.
Whether the true backdrop or just bravado.
You take care, my friend.
This is Cambridge Analytica Uncovered.
Great pleasure.
Yes, thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Until next time.
Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to speak to you about the evolution taking place in marketing and communications.
This is Cambridge Analytica's boss, Alexander Nix. He's become a digital celebrity, headlining last year's Online Marketing Rockstars Festival. Fame followed after being hired by the Trump campaign. Steve Bannon, then a key Trump advisor, had been a vice president of Cambridge Analytica, a de facto founding father. And the company would soon be feted in some quarters as the digital gurus behind that shock victory.
But we were able to use data to identify that there was very large quantities of persuadable voters there that could be influenced to vote for the Trump campaign.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
First one flushed down the toilet, baby.
Political campaigns have changed, and elections are won by small but crucial numbers of votes. Putting the right message in front of the right person at the right moment is more important than ever.
Cambridge Analytica acquires and analyses vast amounts of personal data to identify swing voters, to work out what they care about.
So you know exactly who to target with exactly what type of message.
And then influence them through bespoke adverts on...
Now think about this logically. Everyone in the news, everybody in politics knows that Donald Trump is legitimate. Illegitimate. The guy making the hate speech laws, and he's a war criminal on behalf of the same people that run Cambridge Analytica. And Steve Bannon was the director during the election. You're making shit up.
By now you've probably heard that Facebook is scrambling to contain the fallout over a data privacy scandal. Mark Zuckerberg finally addressed the story on Wednesday, but only after a delete Facebook campaign had started to gain momentum around the world.
So this was a major breach of trust, and I'm really sorry that this happened. We have a basic responsibility to protect people's data, and if we can't do that, then we don't deserve to have the opportunity to serve people.
So how did we get here, and how does Facebook recover? Well, first of all, let's figure out what happened. So on March 16th, the New York Times and The Guardian reported that a data mining firm named Cambridge Analytica...
Let's stop and do the math here. The Disinformation Central casting with Facebook. They stole elections, they stole your information, and they promoted Big Pharma and the death cults. Introduction of warp speed. Y'all need to wake the fuck up. If I can find it this easy, you can too.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. A longtime Facebook executive has admitted the company's platform helped Donald Trump win the 2016 election and predicted it may happen again this year. In an internal memo, Facebook Vice President Andrew Bosworth wrote, "So was Facebook responsible for Donald Trump getting elected? I think the answer is yes," he said. Bosworth, who was a backer of Hillary Clinton in 2016, went on to write that the company should not change its policies in an effort to hurt Trump's re-election chances. Bosworth credited Trump for running, quote, "the single best digital ad campaign I've ever seen from any advertiser." In his memo, Bosworth referenced the role of the shadowy data firm Cambridge Analytica, but downplayed its significance. However, a new Netflix documentary called The Great Hack argues Cambridge Analytica has played a critical role in the U.S. election as well as elections across the globe. Cambridge Analytica was founded by the right-wing billionaire Robert Mercer. Trump's former advisor Steve Bannon was the company's vice president and claims to have named the company.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President-elect of the United States, Donald John Trump.
The election that stunned the world. Despite trailing in the polls, despite losing the popular vote, Donald Trump defeated Hillary Clinton in one of the biggest upsets in American political history.
God bless America. Thank you.
This brutal campaign heralded a new era in political warfare, in which social media is the crucial battleground, fueled by vicious personal attacks, funded by billionaire mega-donors, and targeted with pinpoint accuracy. And one British company claims it was responsible for mastering this new field, paving the way for Trump's victory.
Kansas, Louisiana, Texas.
Cambridge Analytica.
Is that immediately recording? Yeah.
Last night, in the first part of our 4-month investigation, we revealed how CA works in elections around the world. Honey traps and bribes targeted at politicians.
Send some girls around to Kenyon's house.
Hiring ex-spies to dig dirt.
I know people who use.
So, let's break this down. You're financing this stuff because every click that you make on some MAGA Q fucking disinformation channel, that person's getting paid. Most of the time, they're Department of Defense or related to the government in some way.
This week was a huge week for both Facebook and a certain company called Cambridge Analytica. Now, if you've heard of that company before, it's because during the 2016 US presidential election, they are the company that helped out with the social media end of the Trump campaign. But it was revealed this week that they had a whole bunch of access to data that maybe they shouldn't have. Now, to explain exactly...
Now, have you met a politician standing on a soapbox in Central Park talking about his or her views about tax levels and the next budget and what's going to happen with refurbishing the armed forces and so on? You might be interested, but you might be a bit skeptical and you'll take it with a grain of salt. What, however...
Look at Steve Bannon.
A whistleblower is sounding the alarm on a data analytics firm that harvested information from millions of Americans without their permission. The firm is called Cambridge Analytica. They reportedly took information from over 50 million users, in part to help Donald Trump get elected in 2016. Joining me now from Syracuse, New York, is Jennifer Greigel. Jennifer is a social media expert and assistant professor of communications at the Newhouse School of Public Communications at Syracuse University. Professor, this was a system that aided President Trump's campaign, even Senator Ted Cruz's presidential campaign back in 2015. Can you explain to our viewers how it worked and how it could have impacted the election?
Sure. So the company has been in business for several years, and it looks to harvest social media data to do strategic targeting. Their specialty was in a form of research called PSYOPs, so they could start to learn about personality traits of people, and then through supplemented data gathered through Facebook, and in this case, Facebook is reporting that it was not gathered properly. They were able to do strategic targeting around the United States in the hopes of influencing the election. And again, they were early reports.
Here's the idea of this. They're Cambridge Analytica.
Haganah, the Irgun, and the Lehi. They were comprised of mainly Jewish migrants to the British Mandate of Palestine, with the aim of helping usher...
Middle East Eye is talking anti-Semitic terms according to policy that some people are being eliminated. And here we go. Look at this. I mean, double down news.
There's literally nothing that Israel won't do in the name of vengeance and in the name of continuing Zionism. For some people, the takeaway is as long as they're not literally putting people in ovens, as long as they're not doing exactly what the Nazis did, that somehow that's okay. It's actually not okay. Never again doesn't mean never again in the exact same way that the Nazis did it. If that's your takeaway from the Holocaust, you really need to look at yourself and do some soul searching. I'm Jewish.
I'm not going to entertain your dumbassery, okay? That is just a bold-faced looking lie. See, that's why these fuckers are making all these laws, because they're behind everything that's wrong with this world, and they want to kill you for exposing it. And they are killing people, and they have killed people, and they plan on killing everybody. It's in their Bible, or in their cult literature. Because it's a cult, a death cult. They think they have the right to kill anybody who's not part of their cult. That's sociopathic, serial killer bullshit right there. I'm going to get away. I'm going to get away from all this shit because nobody gives a fuck. There'd be 10,000 motherfuckers would be trying to argue with this shit, and I'm showing you in their words that they don't matter. Trump supporters are so brainwashed and indoctrinated by Trump because Trump targeted the uneducated on purpose. They knew there would be racism and all the shit that they're explaining in these videos. What the Cambridge Analytica was about, it was looking for hot topic issues and see voter response. The Iran, let's see if this is close to the truth because I haven't seen anything recently regarding the war yet on YouTube.
Social media account and stated that he is still committed to a diplomatic resolution with Iran. That was part of a long trajectory of feints by the Trump administration to try and lull Iran.
Here's the thing about Semitism. Most of the countries that speak Semitic languages are the countries that were at war with for Israel, and Israel trying to kill Iran, Turkey, Yemen, all these places. United Emirates, all those Arab languages, that's Semitic. Palestine, that's Semitic. There's Arabs there and Jews that speak Semitic languages. And they're relying on your ignorance and the effectiveness of their propaganda machine that you don't know that. Fuck your anti-Semitism laws because they're grammatical fraud, just like everything else you've done to the banking system and everything else. Double down, triple down.
This is truly shocking. We focus on the town of Khizar, which is a small town of about 13,000 people. The Israeli army.
They try to ruin him. But no. We will not.
In my most frank assessment, I would say that they're criminal. In my entire career, have I never witnessed the level of brutality and use of indiscriminate and unnecessary force against a civilian population, an unarmed, starving population. I've never witnessed that in all of the places I've been deployed to war until I was in Gaza at the hands of the IDF and U.S. contractors.
The gentleman you just heard from is not only an American, he's actually Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Aguilar, who's a retired U.S. Green Beret, who actually decided to volunteer and sign up for the humanitarian aid distribution in Gaza. Now, as you can tell, he quit after experiencing what he referred to as the deliberate slaughter of desperate and hungry Palestinian civilians. In fact, here's more.
This is not a battlefield, though it might look like one. It's a food distribution point in Gaza. Bullets are kicking up the sand as men wait to get food.
What this guy's got to say about...
When you see starving people turn up in what is effectively a fenced-off cattle pen, dehumanising Palestinians to the point where they're being regarded as animals. They're being herded like animals into a human abattoir. For the last 6 weeks, about 1,000 of them have literally been slaughtered. And this is all being done in the name of humanitarianism. So to be absolutely clear, an army that has put a fence around the people, blockaded it for 17 years, has starved people to death, built these agricultural pens.
Ever. Of course he is. He converted to Judaism.
Donald Trump is the most corrupt president in US history. That's the accusation levelled at the 47th president with as much vigour as it's been rejected by the White House. A stream of billion-dollar real estate deals, accusations of wars for oil, suspect ties with tech bros, interests in cryptocurrency and even nuclear fusion means Donald Trump's critics say he's trampling over the US Constitution while lining his pockets. His allies call it fake news, a symptom of Trump derangement syndrome. I've brought together the evidence so you can make up your own mind. I'm Sangeeta Maiska. This is The Long Story.
They changed the definition of anti-Semitism when they should have changed the definition of TDS from Trump derangement syndrome to trusting Trump's derangement fucking syndrome. If you can look at everything that's going on now, and you need mental fucking help if you're fucking supporting this piece of shit pedophile. That's what they're moving for, the New World Order, so aggressively, so they can start sacrificing people, raping children, all that shit. I've got no obligation to co-sign these fucking sociopathic, serial, genocidal maniacs. UK, Israel, and genocide. All these countries. You guys think you're ruled by these people that have your interests? Your interest in? No. You're being used as a bullet sponge for Israel. The military been bullet sponges for Israel through damn near every war.
I would say so. We have two enemies. We have the outside enemy, and then we have the enemy from within. And the enemy from within, in my opinion, is more dangerous than China, Russia.
And the enemy within, by which Donald Trump means his critics and opponents here at home. For years now, Donald Trump has been pushing the idea that there are domestic threats that are as big of a challenge for the United States as its adversaries abroad. Now the Trump administration has released its official 2026 United States counterterrorism strategy, which reads less like an actual strategy and more like an effort to put Donald Trump's conspiracies, grudges, and grievances to paper.